Welcome everyone. One of the most popular upgrades to an arcade stick is to change the joystick lever. When you look at this component, the joystick lever itself just looks like one part that goes into the arcade stick, but actually there are many parts that makes up a joystick lever. In particular, there are 5 easy parts in here that you can change to fine-tune your lever. Not only will this add a personal touch to your lever, these little adjustments can also improve your accuracy and improve your gameplay performance. Starting from top to bottom, those 5 parts are: number 1, the ball top; number 2, the shaft; number 3, the spring; number 4, the actuator; and the last one, number 5, is going to be the restrictor gate. And that is the goal of this series, is to simply help you understand more about arcade stick and parts and how they work. I will be going over them one by one. Now let's begin. Let's begin with what is a ball top and a bat top. They're simply just a handle grip for your joystick levers. They come in many different styles and materials and color. They come in wood, aluminum, metal, plastic. Some people use a golf ball. Some people go as far as custom 3D printing their own handle for their joystick lever. And keep in mind that a ball top and a bat top does not associate with any types of lever, meaning some people assume when they see a ball top, they automatically think that they are Japanese lever. And some people think when they see a bat top, they automatically assume that they are Korean levers. That is not always the case, because I can put a ball top on a Korean lever, and you can put a bat top on a Japanese lever. So as you can see, that is not always the case. But also keep in mind, depending on which model you get. So yeah, and so if you go to Korea, most likely you are going to see more bat top, because Korean lever usually comes in a bat top. And if you go to Japan, you will be most likely seeing more ball tops due to the popularity of Japanese arcade parts from makers such as Sama Hayabusa and Semisu. And if you come to the US, most likely you are going to see the traditional American bat tops. So let me tell you a little story. Back in the arcade days when I was younger, there used to be a lot of arcades in New York City, in pizza shops, in laundromats, in grocery stores. A lot of arcades. Different arcades would have different games and different players, and I used to jump from one to the other just to try them all out. And at the time, in all the arcades, we only had the traditional American arcade parts and bat tops. Not until Street Fighter 4 came to Chinatown Fair, which was the biggest arcade at the time. I think we had about 4 cabinets, 2 sets of Street Fighter 4, and that was a big deal at the time. And I remember that was the first time that I experienced Japanese arcade parts. And I believe back then it was the Sawa parts in those cabinets. And I remember in the first week I did not like the Japanese part. It was different. It was clicky, it was very loose, it was very different from what I used to play. But then after 2 weeks, I actually fell in love with the Japanese cabinets. So I went and purchased my own arcade stick. So I remember my first arcade stick is the Hori EX2, because also at the time I couldn't afford to play in the arcade because it was $1 per round. So I bought my own copy of Street Fighter 4 for PC, and I practiced at home. Now I'm going to show you guys how to change the ball top or the bat top. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know, but just in case, for the viewers who are brand new to arcade stick, you simply just place the flathead screwdriver in the bottom and then just hold it and twist the ball top or the flathead screwdriver. There you go. And now you can just still hold it, and just simply twist that off. And then it comes right off. And then you can just put a bat top on. And you want to also do the same thing and just hold it and then twist so you tighten the bat top. And if your arcade stick have easy access to the internals, you can simply open it like this, right here, and just take the same flathead screwdriver and just switch out the ball top or bat top like this. And if your arcade stick doesn't have easy access to internals, you will have to open the back panel up, and the same thing, use a flathead screwdriver and just hold it here and then turn the ball top. And if you are someone who doesn't use a shaft cover, you can actually just change the ball top or bat top using a plier without opening the bottom of the arcade stick. But make sure you grab a cloth or some type of material to protect the shaft, so that way you don't dent the metal or aluminum. So using a cloth or rubber band, you want to hold the shaft and just kind of twist. It will be the same thing as twisting from the bottom using a flathead screwdriver. So someone may ask which one is better. In terms of what I've seen, most Tekken players, Soul Calibur players, and Dead or Alive players prefers the bat top, because these games has a lot of like fast movements, and like fast tapping, back and diagonals, things like that. And these 3D games are very directional heavy. You're gonna see like a lot of like side steps, dashing and things like that. So it's very natural and comfortable for your hand on a bat top for those like gestures and movements. Because look, when you tap and push, your finger is kind of like lining up like a straight line, like a wall, and the bat top naturally fits the hand and the shape of kind of like your palm and your fingers. Imagine your hand is this box, like a straight wall, right? As you can see, your hand kind of aligns with the bat top naturally. So it's very comfortable and natural. So regardless of you're pushing or tapping in any direction, it's gonna be very fast and natural and comfortable. But whereas if you have a ball top, look, is the contact point of your hand to the ball top is very minimal. There's a very small point of contact, so it's not very natural or comfortable for a ball top in terms of directional fighting game. And if you're pushing, your whole hand is pushing, but only maybe one finger is touching. And when you curve down to try to do like diagonals, it's not as natural. And sometimes your hand may kind of like curve, and the top of the finger and the bottom of the finger may be a little bit forward, and the middle two fingers may be a little bit backward, because your hand is trying to shape the roundness of the ball. So it's kind of defeats of the purpose, because when you're trying to push with four fingers, only one finger is kind of like pushing. So there's kind of like energy loss. So yeah, the bat top is definitely more comfortable in this case. So it makes sense that the bat top is the preferred choice for like directional heavy games. As for the ball top, for games like Street Fighter, King of Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, SNK series, more of those players prefer the ball top, because these games are circular input based. When you have to do quarter circle, half circle, uppercut motion, or some characters have like 360. uh, you have to do those commands constantly in the game. And what does all four of those commands have in common? Holding. You are required to grip the handle and hold on to it to complete the motion. And in the long combo, it can be a lot of circular motion, so that means a lot of holding. So it's a lot easier to do circular motions when your hand can grip anywhere onto the ball top, on the side, on the top, or even the bottom, because everyone's hand is different, and every player like kind of curve their hand or move or circles the ball top differently. So a ball top allows that freedom of movement. Whether you're doing a 360 or a spin kick or a DP motion, whatever, you can grab it anywhere on the ball top. So it makes sense that the ball top is the preferred choice for circular input fighting games. And finally, at the end of the day, they are just handles. So it really comes down to personal preference and which one is more comfortable for your hand. I'm sure there are a lot of great players who uses a ball top for directional fighting games and a bat top for a more of a circular fighting game. I'm gonna put a poll on the top right, so choose which one you use, and so everyone can see the statistics. And as for me, which one do I use? I notice myself using the ball top more because most of the fighting games that I play are circular motion, like most versions of King of Fighters, Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, SNK series, and things like that. But I'm also comfortable with the bat top because growing up in the arcades, they only had bat tops. And I find myself using the bat top more for Tekken. So yeah, that sums it up. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe is always helpful for a small channel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.